What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and they're back. That's right. Just when you thought that crazy Tuchel and wreckball Jorginho were gone, they come back. God! Oh my God! It's been a while. Like, I'll admit, it's been a while since I've been this frustrated with Jorginho and Tuchel, but man, when they frustrate you, they frustrate the hell out of you. They just do not make any good decisions whenever they're dumb on the day. And to get beat by Arsenal, I mean, it's basically what convinced me that Lampard was done whenever he got beat by Arsenal earlier in the season. This has got me convinced that Tuchel really doesn't know what he's doing. And also, Jorginho convinced me he doesn't deserve to play for us anymore. So, it's just a bunch of goodwill built up from these past few games. And I've been kind of, not been being as critical, because it's been okay. Like, it hasn't been great. There's been some strange decisions, but we've been turning out some decent results. It's been fine. It's okay. It's okay. We'll be fine. Nope, we won't be. Today's shows we won't be. I mean, you get beat at home by Arsenal. You get shut out at home by Arsenal. You can't get any lower. I mean, honestly, you can't get any lower. Sure, you can get beat by the relegation teams, but in those games, probably something happened where you really just, like the West Brom game, you got a red card. I mean, it was Jorginho's fault that day too, but you got a red card and then you got beat. Yeah, it's a red card. Getting beat with when you're man down, you probably shouldn't happen. Our performance was still pretty pitiful, but you know what? It's a red card. We'll bounce back. Getting beat at home by Arsenal when you don't score a goal and then you give them their winning goal. I mean, that's just, you can't get any worse. Especially when they tried to give you the game. I mean, literally tried to give you the game in the first half. And then second half, they played us exactly how they should have played us. They let us have possession because we're not going to create anything. We're not going to create our own chances. The only way they can give us chances is if they have possession and they give it away. Those are our best chances today. And we did have one. But, I mean, really, you look at the two halves as a whole, and we didn't really create much of our own stuff. It wasn't until the very end of the game where Arsenal were basically just sitting in their box, and then we just started finally dumping balls into Giroud, who should have been on the whole game, and Zuma was staying up there. I mean, that was the only way we were able to create anything today, was just hopeful balls dumped into a box against a sitting Arsenal with your defender who's great in the air and your striker who's great in the air. That was our only chance. Everything else, we're just passing around the box, waiting for that one giveaway. We're passing around the box, and then dumb shot or bad ball or something that gives it away. And Arsenal knew what to do. They were just like, all right, we'll look like a terrible team. The commentators will constantly just shit on us for how little possession we're going to have. But you know what? We're going to win this game because we know as long as we give them possession, they can't score. And that's basically what happened. And it's embarrassing. And I've been talking about it. That is the one thing Tuchel needs to fix. He needs to fix this problem of scoring against teams that are going to sit back against you. We can score against the big teams. We can score against a team that's going to step out and press us because we can play quickly and we can get it down the field and we've got pacey players that can get in behind the defense. But when you come up against a team that's going to sit in against you, you've got to find a way, and he's not finding a way. And I'll say it again, Havertz as a false nine does not work. What is this, 4 games now that he's tried that and we've not scored a goal? I don't know how many more times it can happen before he finally wakes up and says, wait a minute, maybe this isn't working. We haven't scored a goal the past several games that I've tried Havertz as a false nine. We've not scored a goal. Maybe this isn't working. Maybe there's a problem here. But no, he's going to keep trying it. Because we scored 4 in that game against Palace where Palace didn't defend. So clearly this works, guys. This is a working thing. It worked in 1 game and didn't work in 4. So it's a working thing. But before I go off on a rant about Tuchel and more of his dumb decisions, I will talk about Andre Mariner today because, wow. Jeez. So apparently, it's okay to trip somebody if they're not going to get the ball. If they poke it, and they're not going to get there, but then the defender steps across him and trips him anyway, apparently that's okay. Because it happened twice in the box to Havertz. And then there's a moment where Pulisic is running after a ball, and then Gabriel just steps across him, trips him up, and then he's like, oh, that's a throw-in because it bounced off Pulisic. Hello? I mean, I'm not saying that we deserved to get anything out of this game, because the way Tuchel set us up and the way that we played most of the game, and we didn't. We dominated the game, but we didn't finish our chances, and that's what killed us. But you look at those 2 trips in the box on Havertz. I just love the commentary. Oh, he's already going down. When? After the guy clipped him? Yeah, he's already going down after he was tripped. Duh. It was just ridiculous that wasn't called. And it was only because, oh, well, I mean, he's not going to get to that ball. And so a player pokes it past me and it's clearly going out of bounds. I slug him in the face. That's okay? We can do that. We can do that now. He takes a shot. I kick the crap out of him. I mean, he's not going to go get that ball now. I mean, he shot it, so I can do that, right? So anyways, I do feel like we were robbed of 2 penalties, but also, I mean, the way the game was going, it definitely didn't feel like we were going to get them. Definitely not from the center ref and definitely not from VAR, which only made it more frustrating whenever we would barely touch them and then they would flop and then they'd get the call in the middle of the field. Just like, there's little contact. There's a lot of contact. One should be a penalty and one should be a foul. It was right, balanced. But anyways, that aside though, let's talk about Tuchel, because yeah, Havertz is a false 9, doesn't work. Already talked about it. When I saw that, I'm like, I can't believe he's doing it again. If we can score a goal, great, but I'm not confident, and then we didn't score a goal. And it's not even just the fact that we're not finishing when he's up front. It's the fact that we just lack so much creativity because we don't have a striker in that position. And I don't care how much Werner misses. His runs cause so many problems for the back line. Like, yeah, he misses very, very clear-cut chances. I'm not defending that. But when you have him on the pitch, it opens up the play so much more for the players around him. But no, let's go with a false 9 as our striker again. So that doesn't make any sense. Then let's talk about his subs. So at halftime, he brings on Hudson-Odoi. Okay, that's fine. You're bringing on some energy for Gilmore. Okay, first half performances, right? First half performances. Not everybody played well the first half. Some of them played well first half, didn't play well second half. One of them played poor both halves. Jorginho, worst player on the pitch. So if you're going to sub off one of your 2 center mids, probably should be the worst of those 2, right? Right? The one that was getting beat for pace in the first half? The one that gave them a goal? The one that couldn't get his passes straight? Probably should be that guy, right? But no, let's take off Gilmore. The young player who stepped it up in the second half against City and started well this first half against Arsenal. Let's take him off, which now means you're moving Mason Mount back into the midfield, where he doesn't play well, because that's not his position. Now, granted, it does mean that you've got another attacking player, so it's an attacking switch. You're bringing on an attacking player for someone who's a bit more of a defensive type player. So I get that concept. But again, if you're going to do that, then why take off the worst of the 2 defensive mids? And frankly, I don't like it when Mason Mount's coming from deeper. I know it allows him to get up in the attack and provide an extra man, where, Conte and Jorginho or Kovacic or Gilmore, they would normally be sitting in behind where Mount kind of steps into play. But whenever he's in the box, he's dangerous. His movement is dangerous. They're having to track him. He's able to run all around. When he's starting from deeper, most of his movement is across the top of the box, where he's not as dangerous. So that sub didn't make any sense. And then he brings on Giroud for Havertz. Okay, should have been your halftime sub, but okay, you brought him on. Now let's start getting crosses in the box. We didn't. We didn't start crossing into the box. We didn't start doing that until the last 5 minutes of the game, like stoppage time minutes of the game. We didn't cross it. We kept trying to play on the ground. and they're sitting with 11 in the box, and we're trying to play through that when you've got Giroud on the field. Get the cross in. And I don't know if that's a Tuchel thing or if that's a player thing, but get the cross in. And then he brings on Ziyech for Azpilicueta. So James, who's been giving you nothing all game, we're going to leave him on. But Azpilicueta, who actually played a couple decent through balls and who was getting up in the attack and was playing with pace and energy, let's take him off. I mean, he's given us too much. We don't want to leave him on the field. Take him off. Bring on Ziyech, who's been doing nothing the past few games. Scored a goal, but, I mean, did nothing the rest of that game. Great decision. Brilliant. So it makes no sense. Just lack of care, lack of logic from Tuchel today. Just nothing. So now let's talk individuals. Kepa, hard to blame him. I mean, he actually, in my opinion, did well to get back as quick as he did because it was a terrible ball. It was basically a shot. And honestly, it was not the first time, or not the only time in the game that happened, because there was one where James was on the sideline and basically had a shot. God, I swear, if we shot like we were shooting at our own net, I swear it would be so much more clinical. I mean, we looked pretty dangerous today when we were shooting backwards. But yeah, I mean, he did well to keep it out, and honestly, had to come up with a couple decent saves and had to look lively because we didn't really let them have a whole lot, but the moments that we did, it was pretty lax defending, and so he was called upon a couple times to be ready and be aware, and in my opinion, did okay today. And not saying that Mendy is like kind of worried about his spot at all, but I mean, in all honesty, he does deserve some credit for what looks like improvement. You know, it looks like he's coming along. It looks like he's working hard to improve himself. That's good to see. It's commendable. So, in the back three, Azpilicueta thought he worked hard today. You know, did well to keep them from having much going forward. And like I said, going forward, he actually did provide some good passes. He was lively. He was moving around a lot. And that's something that we didn't have a whole lot of today. So the fact that one of your center defenders provided more movement than your wing back or your supposed to be striker, it just tells you where the problem was today. So, but yeah, I mean, he had that one that Mount probably should have scored where he slips in, Spilicueta slips in Pulisic and then Pulisic chops it back. That was a great ball from Dave. So yeah, another good performance from him, and same for Silva. You know, very good at reading the play. I thought his passes today could have been a little bit better because he's shown he can knock a ball around pretty well. There are a couple times, though, where he's looking to go over the top, but there's not really anything over the top, and so it leads to just you give it away. So I thought there were a couple times he made that decision when it should have just been try to find something like out wide. But at the same time, I mean, obviously there weren't a whole lot of options because of how much Arsenal had packed it in. But at the same time, you should be a little bit more clever, should be a little bit better with it than just, here, I'm going to try to knock it long over the top, and then you give it away. And then Zuma, I thought played well, did well to get on the header at the end of the end of the game too. So I thought he played well defensively, though. You know, wasn't really tested a whole lot because he seemed to come down the left side more often. But yeah, he looked solid today, which is good because with Christensen out, there's a chance he'll have to be stepping in because it seems like we play better whenever Azpilicueta is the right wing back, which is weird because I don't see him as a right wing back. But he works so much, and James has not really been working as hard as he can be. So we look much better whenever Dave's out there because we have energy on that wing, which is good. The problem is just his quality in the final third isn't quite as good. But I'll take the hard work ethic over the lack of over the quality in the final third because most of the time James can't make it into the final third because he's just kind of walking. But we'll talk about him now. Yeah, I mean, again, just another game where I feel like he's set in cruise control. He's just kind of, okay, yeah, I'll just cruise on along. Yeah, I'll just kind of make that one run. All right, now I'll just jog back. All right, I get the ball. I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to wait. And now I'll play the ball. It's got to be quicker. I mean, so many times it comes to him and the play just slows down. He's not the only one, but he should be playing a lot quicker than that, especially because we've seen he can be very effective in the final third when he wants to be, but the problem is it feels like he doesn't want to be right now. It feels like he doesn't even want to be out there sometimes, the way I watch him walk and the way I watch him stand. I'm just like, dude, move. Do something. Make some sort of run. Do something that affects the play. Make a run that causes the defense to say, "Oh, we got to watch that," instead of just standing out there and just waiting. So the defense, okay, we'll just stand here and wait too. Easy job for us. So he's got to bring more. He's got to bring more energy. He's got to bring more desire. Because right now I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, I don't want him on my team. I don't want somebody that's not really going to put forth 100% effort every game. And he's not. So that's a problem. Chilwell, he worked hard today, but his effectiveness in the final third was really, really bad. Just too many crosses that hit the first defender. Too many moments where it felt like he really should have done a bit more, should have gotten rid of it a bit quicker. I don't know. I've seen him be clever and creative on the ball, and it feels like there are games when that creativeness is gone, and this was one of those games. It just felt like he was stuck. He'd get out wide, he'd get the ball, and then nothing would happen. We had to go backwards, or he'd cross it to a defender, cross it to the keeper. Just, it needs to be more quality in the final third from him, and I know he's obviously, got a defensive job to do as well, being a wingback, but today we needed more of the attacking sense, which is ironic, because I'm like, well, Alonso's pretty good in the attack, so maybe Tuchel got it backwards. He should have played Chilwell in the weekend and then Alonso today, because Alonso probably would have thrived in this game the way the Arsenal were just sitting back against us. Then you got the two midfielders. Like I said, Gilmore, I thought he played well. I thought he worked hard, looked a lot better than he did the first half against City. It just, very energetic and also very just confident on the ball. Very rarely do you see him put a pass wrong. Very rarely do you see him looking like he's panicking and struggling to keep hold of the ball like somebody else. I wonder who. He looks, when he's playing in this sort of confidence, he doesn't look like a kid. And I talked about that against City. He played in that first half like he was a kid. Today he did not. And in my opinion, I don't know if it's a fitness thing maybe, but I don't know why he was subbed off at halftime. It just seemed an odd decision to me. Because the other midfielder that we'll talk about now, every time that I feel like, oh, Jorginho's playing well. Oh, Jorginho looks like a good player. Oh, Jorginho, I'd like having him in my team. He just has this one game that I'm just like, nope, don't want to see him again. Nope, goodbye. You can leave. I actually passed an article today. It was like Barcelona offering swap deal and Jorginho was involved. And the caption was like, nice try, Barcelona, like from a Chelsea reporter or something like that. And I'm just like, that was written a day ago. Maybe we should have taken that deal. It would be like the David Luiz transfer when we sold him, and then like that summer in the World Cup is when they got thrashed 7-2. It was just like, whew. Oh, what a good deal for us. And PSG were just like, what did we just buy? But yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about him though. It's just he always has these games in him. He's never really fully 100% consistent. He's never fully got that play where I'm just confident that he's always going to put in a good performance. I look at Kovacic, I look at Conte. They do have their off games. They do have their games where they're not quite up to it. They're maybe struggling a little bit, but never do I look at them and think, man, they suck today. I've had that thought at least 20 times with Jorginho on the pitch during his career. And you should not be doing that whenever you're supposed to be one of the defensive midfielders. I mean, as a defender, as a defensive midfielder, as a goalkeeper, you can't have those games. Striker, a little bit more lenient because you score a goal the next game and people are just like, yeah, go striker. But for a defensive midfielder to give away a goal like that, and not even really under pressure. Like there was a guy stepping to him, but it's not like the guy put a step in on him and he hit it as he was getting hit. It was the guy was about a step away from him and he had to get rid of it quickly. And he looked at where Kepa was and he hits it at the goal. How do you do that? As a midfielder who is supposed to be known for your distribution, who's supposed to be known for how you pass the ball, how do you make that big of an error? How do you give the ball away to the other team and get one of your defenders sent off because you did that twice? You set him up to get carded twice. How do you do that? Like, how do you do that at the professional level? It's mind-boggling that people still rate him highly when he has errors in him like that. I don't care that he had 3 or 4 games in a row where he was one of the best players on the pitch. When you do that the next game, why are you on the pitch? Because again, if you're just going to have an off game where you're not really up to it, maybe you're diving into tackles a little too much, maybe you're not really reacting to everything quick enough. I mean, Mount, you look at him, there are some games where, in my opinion, today was another good one, and I guess I'll go ahead and talk about him a little bit too. Yeah, today was not one of his better games. He wasn't up to it. There were moments where it felt like he was a little slower. He wasn't really as creative today as he has been. He didn't look his usual best self, but he didn't suck today. He still worked hard. He didn't make any major mistakes that cost us anything. He wasn't really quite up to the same level that I'm used to seeing him. And you could tell because we weren't really as creative in the final third as we normally are whenever he's on the pitch. But with Jorginho, when he's not up to it, I have to worry. Every single time he gets the ball, I have to worry that we're going to give it away, that we're going to give up a goal because he's just that bad when he's bad. And I don't want a player like that on the field. I don't want a player that his highs are pretty good, but then his lows cost us games. Like, and just him, too. Like, yeah, there are problems all over the pitch. There are problems when we can't score. Those are issues. But we don't lose games because we're not scoring. We lose games when we give up goals. That's losing us the game. So, yeah, there's my Jorginho rant. I don't know how many mistakes he needs to make before we finally just decide enough is enough. Maybe this will be the final straw, but I'm feeling like probably not. Based on the fact that, again, he got Silva sent off against West Brom, and that cost us the game. Terrible passes in that first half. And he's still here. He's still playing. So, anyways. But Mount, yeah, like I said, not a great game from him. He did have a couple good moments where he's moving the ball well or his dribbling looked good. But for the most part, there are some games where I feel like when he plays too much, he does start to look a little legged and starts to look a little slow. And it's weird because he did get a break in the weekend. But even with that break, he still just looks slow today. So, I don't know, just not a good game from him, and it hurt us. Pulisic, there was a point where he was hobbling in the first half, so I don't know if maybe he's struggling with something still, but he looked a little slow today as well. Of the two, I feel like Pulisic had more good moments than Mount did, but they were both off it today, and that contributed to our lack of ability to really get into the box and make anything happen. On top of that, I feel like Pulisic is more the type of player that plays in open spaces, and today we didn't have a whole lot of those. So I feel like that didn't help him either, because whenever teams pack it in, he tends to have difficulty really finding space to do what he does best. So I do feel like that hindered his game as well. But I did like the work ethic from him, because there were moments where it felt like, was he going to go off? Was he going to have to deal with this injury? But then all of a sudden I see him busting it again. He's working hard to win the ball back, or he's working hard to make something happen. So he definitely did try today. I don't think he was very effective, and part of that again is because Arsenal just really packed it in, and that's not his game. Havertz, not a false nine. Know that, talked about it. But even so, there were still some moments where it feels like his quality has got to be better. And it's been good. He's been playing well. His quality's really stepped it up. There are a lot of moments where I feel like he's showing the type of player he is, where he's very good on the ball. He's very quick to make stuff happen. His finishing has been decent recently, aside from the one-on-one with Courtois. But then you get to today and wasted one-on-one chance early on. And then it just feels like he can't really get a touch in the box. It feels like he's not really finding any sort of space to run into. And again, they've packed it in, so of course he's going to have some difficulty. But at the same time, your movement should open up space for somebody else, and he's just kind of standing there waiting for something to happen. Just move into space. Try to do something. Try to make a run that puts the defense off, but he didn't. So I don't think this was his game, and I don't think him as a false nine, especially in this game, would ever work. But even so, I still want to see a little bit more endeavor out of him to try to bring the game to him instead of waiting for the game to come to him. And then the subs, Hudson-Odoi, I mean, he came on with a lot of energy, but unfortunately he was also just very much unable to make anything happen in the final third. Um, gave a lot of, going forward, but just again, I mean, they packed it in, and he's not really the type of player that works well under tight conditions. He's good at taking on down the line, and he was playing much more central. So, and then Giroud came on. At first, he had to kind of grow into the game, and again, we stopped crossing, or we didn't ever really cross it in this game. But whenever he came on, I was expecting to see some crosses in because we had space out wide, and they were giving us time to hit the crosses. It's just there was no target in the box. Well, with Giroud, now we have a target, but then we didn't do that until the end of the game. So I felt like that didn't help. But also, for some reason, when he came on, all of a sudden, we just stopped keeping possession, which allowed Arsenal to step out against us. And whenever they stepped out, now we don't have a pacey striker. You know, Giroud's not the type that's going to get him behind. So now all of a sudden Arsenal stepped out when we've got our big man on. Just kind of like that. Why did we let them step out against us when we got Giroud? Like, this was the point where we really needed to pin him in so that way Giroud could get on the end of crosses. And now not only have we not been crossing, but now we're letting them get up ahead of us, which means now we have to try to play our way back into this pushing them back. And which we did, and again, we didn't really hit any crosses until the end of the game, and then all of a sudden we're creating chances. Go figure. We're hitting the crossbar twice. Go figure. But yeah, then Ziyech came on, and again, he's not really been playing well. He hit a couple good balls in this game, but just for what he showed us early on in his career at Chelsea, I feel like he can do so much more. And I don't know if it's a positional thing, but it feels like there are times whenever he just sort of fades out of the game. And I feel like he can provide so much more. So, but yeah, I mean, we gave Leicester the chance to jump over us again, which, well, they already did. But we gave Leicester the chance to kind of pull away and put us under pressure again for fourth place. We gave West Ham a chance to catch back up because they were 6 points behind us. Now they have the chance to be only 3, which means another, we play Leicester near the end of the season. I think it might be the last game. So another chance for us to drop 3 points, and West Ham, I mean, yeah, they're not playing really fantastically right now, but we're giving them the chance to get back at us when we could have put it to bed against a weak Arsenal side. An Arsenal side that had the chance to not finish in the top 10 this year. We had the chance to put this away. We had the chance to say, all right, we've got this. We've got top 4 in the bag. Easy peasy. But instead, Tuchel set us up with some weird, with some weird, tactics today. He set us up with a false 9. His subs didn't make any sense. Jorginho was playing terribly again today. And it just all set up for, Arsenal ran their luck. Had a lot of very near misses. And yeah, they got lucky on the day, but at the end of the day, we should have created some of our own luck too. And we really didn't. So, yeah, all in all, I'm frustrated. I'm pissed. I think Jorginho should go. I think Tuchel should really take a long, hard look in the mirror to be like, hey, no more Havertz as a false 9. Not doing that again. Because if I see it again, I don't know what I'll do. I'll make some random threat like flying over and punching him in the face, but I'm not actually going to do that because I can't right now because I can't afford it. So, but anyways, all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on the game? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.